brothers and sisters. About 3 weeks ago, I was in Haiti for a 7-day trip. This started off when my college roommate called me and said, "Hey, my neighbor is going to Haiti to help out. You want to come?" And he's not Christian or anything like that. It was just his neighbor, where he lives in New Haven now, happened to be in the construction business, and basically goes around the world doing disaster relief, like in Sri Lanka and places like that. So they had this trip to Haiti last year, and they were doing a follow-up this year. So I said, well, I looked at my schedule and looked at my finances and said a prayer about it, and said, well, this sounds like a good thing, especially after the Puerto Rico trip. So we got into Haiti, and as you're flying in, it's a beautiful, lush countryside, but it's very clear as you're getting into Port of Spain that things are very wrong. There are tent cities all over the place, and by a tent city, I mean these blue tarps that you use, they put that on top of a wood frame, and that's where they live. And there are thousands, tens of thousands of people who are living like this, and essentially, when the aid organizations come in, they give them new tarps, and they sort of throw the new tarp over the old tarp. And so you walk around and you see 5 or 6 layers of tarp. So it was quite something. The city's rubble. It's rubble. The streets are rubble. There's no asphalt. There's rubble. And we had a driver and a school bus, and he sort of took us around, and you can drive along at 5 or 6 miles an hour. We stayed at a decent hotel that was unaffected by the earthquake, and they had a generator, and they had electricity and water that was pumped in. So that was pretty good for us, because it would have been pretty dismal otherwise. The first day we went to an orphanage, again, that was affected by the earthquake, and there were many children who had lost their parents who were there. I think probably about 50 kids, I'm not exactly sure. When the group went there last year, they kind of threw up a big shelter in the back that would become the boys' dormitory. Last year they were operating in disaster relief mode, and they just kind of threw it up there, and it was really falling apart. So what we did is we tore it down, and we built it slightly better this year. I think the UN has a term for it. We built it in transitional housing specs, so not full spec. So the children were just incredibly loving. They were happy to see us. They wanted to help us. And I have to say, the first day when we were demolishing the structure, there was wood with nails everywhere. And you've got these 50 kids who are just in the midst of everything. And I said, I know the Lord works miracles. And I said, it's going to be a miracle if no one gets hurt from this. And no one got hurt, no one got scratched from any of these nails, but I was pretty confident that would be the outcome. The following days, we sort of returned to the tent city, which was right across from the hotel, worked with their particular leader. Last year, this group that I went with basically stayed at the hotel and just went across the street and said, "Hey, what do you want us to do?" The leader said, "It'd be great if we could have a meeting spot." So what they did is they just cleared up some rubble and kind of made a flat sort of foundation type structure, poured a little concrete on it. And that's how they left it last year. In their ingenuity, the people in this tent city built a house on it that became a school. So that was very inspirational for everybody, and that these are folks who are going to help themselves if you sort of help them out. So they had a school there, and some church had been paying for a teacher to come teach English, and so there are people coming from all over the tent cities to learn English there. We helped out in the tent city by clearing out some rubble and sort of putting pavement down to keep. When it rains, basically the water kind of runs down the mountain through everything, and so we were trying to help out with this. I don't think I mentioned, there's no water or sewage. There's just these drains that sort of run through the camp and into the road. It's pretty awful smelling. So we did some of that at the tent city, and the last day we went to the disaster hospital. Right after the earthquake, they set up a hospital at the airport, and subsequent months they moved that hospital inland. We went there and said, well, what do you need us to do? And from a construction perspective, and they said, you know, we can really use some shelves. And so we built a whole bunch of shelves for the triage area, the X-ray area, and some the pediatric area. And so that was quite, you know, that was quite something. I have some experience with triage in the military, and I spent some time there. And you know, it doesn't cost anything to bring your kids in. I think they charge them $1 if you bring your, you know, an adult in. But this guy just brought in his child who was slightly emaciated, but you know, probably suffering from some sort of cholera. There's cholera, typhoid, and a bunch of other diseases like that going around there. The other thing I'd say is that people are, they're not emaciated. You're not going to see people walking around showing their bones. And they're actually healthy. They're probably doing better than we are because no one's fat. But no one is skinny or sort of, you know, dragging on. The food is basically beans and rice that people send in. They really don't have meats. And you know, they're dependent on aid for that. They get water trucked into their camp from a tanker truck. That water is not what we would drink, but they put in their purification pills, and that is what they drink, and that's how they've been living for 2 years. So you know, that's an interesting thing. You know, just one thing to mention as a side is a lot of people have cell phones, and while that may seem like a luxury, I guess the way it works over there is you pay as you go, and it's kind of inexpensive, relatively speaking, to have a phone that you can receive calls on. So perhaps they get calls from their relatives abroad. But anyway, I think the perspective that I walk away with this is that the Lord has brought a bunch of stuff to me and to us, our family here. The Lord's put a tent city with 150 families in front of us. You know, that need food and water. He's put an orphanage with 50 kids or so in front of us. He's put a hospital in front of us. He's also put a safe, comfortable hotel in front of us. And the driver that we have, the transportation guy, it's someone that I got his phone number, and we can call him if it's something that we need to do. So I asked, you know, I will be praying about this, about what is it that, you know, that we're supposed to do. I think the Lord has dropped this in front of me, certainly in front of you, and it's up to us to sort of pray about it and see what exactly He wants us to do about it. It could be that He wants us to go there as a group or as individuals. It might be that He wants us to sponsor a teacher or something like that. Or it might be that in some ideal situation, as I interacted with the kids, I said, you know, wouldn't it be great if somehow, you know, the older kids, they could just come live with me and just go to school. I mean, that's not so hard. You know, I've got the room in my house. But, you know, these are the things that certainly we have to sort of pray about, see where it leads us. But, you know, I encourage you to look into the Haiti situation some more. I know that there have been, you know, billions of dollars worth of aid. I don't know if it matters whether there's been billions of dollars worth of aid. There's a bunch of people that we've come in contact with, and they need some help. So that's I'll have pictures next week.